I'm Casey Putsch, and last week I did the Tucker Carlson show with regard to my Omega car concept, which was that really cool white car that gets over 100 miles a gallon on diesel, out-accelerates a Dodge Viper, exactly matches a Tesla Model 3, but believe it or not, when you do the calculations, has a lower carbon footprint per mile than an EV when you consider national average. Tucker and I had a lot of cool things to talk about, and today I wanted to talk about being able to purchase one of those cars in the future, what my startup company concept actually is, and what the heck am I doing now? So I'm in my home garage fiddling with this window regulator on that old Mercedes because I was going to just rebuild the motor, but the magnet disintegrated, which is bizarre. I've never seen that happen. But tonight I need to go in the basement and work on another fun little, shall we say, enterprise I'm doing and assemble some Swiss parts into watches. Sidebar. So I'm in the $8,000 rolls I joked about on Tucker's show. But in watching the video and editing it, I just wanted to say, when I start talking about business and politics and I'm working on something precise and mechanical, my language gets really precise and a little edgy. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just talking about things that matter and require a lot of thought and structure. So take that into consideration, please. I'm actually fun at parties. Okay, guys, we are in my basement, which is where I do all of my trolling, which is not true. I troll everywhere. I'm an equal opportunity troller, and this is not my mom's house. Anyway, so I'm building watches, and I need to work on them tonight. I'm going to use this opportunity to talk to you guys about my startup company concept for the Omega car, and where I'm going with that. Also, Tucker said he wants to buy a car, and for all the other people out there that are finding me that would like to buy a car and are interested, I want to talk about that too. But actually what I'm doing here right now, in a funny sort of way, parallels the Omega car and the startup company there, because I have a daughter and a wife and like to try to be a good husband and father, which means spending time, which means I'm at home a lot more. So over the winter, I came up with the idea to do a startup watch company. I love Swiss mechanical high-end watches, but there's a lot of issues with jewelry stores and profit margins and everything like that. And long story short, I figured out a way to make a great company. So I'm hand assembling some prototypes with really high-end parts I get from Switzerland. They only come like a block away from the Rolex factory. So I've really been enjoying that. And I'm gonna have some watches available. And as another note, and I may just put a thing on the screen at the end, and we're gonna talk about cars. I'm gonna do 10 Founders watches, which will be one-off watches that people get specifically done by me, really high-end, and all those people have first dibs to be able to invest in the watch company if they want to in the future. But anyway, so Omega car. Doing a startup company is an interesting thing. So first thing let's talk about, am I producing cars that people can purchase for $20,000 right now? No. That was for mass production. I am not set up for mass production. I don't have a factory, I don't have a giant team, I don't have massive amounts of capital to start up at this time. And I am in fact at my basement at a 150-year-old desk I bought for $100 putting together watches. So unfortunately I can't sell you guys a car right now. And also I cannot build you a car for $20,000 right now. If I do that, I will go broke and bankrupt and die. Because respectfully, building a car takes many thousands of hours, an incredible array of various talents and techniques and things, and building one prototype car from the ground up was no small task when I did a long time ago. Prototype building for car companies or anything else, you're talking well into the 6 figures, if not 7 figures for a car. That's a prototype, not mass production. So I just want to point that out. I hope that doesn't disappoint you all. So let's talk about my concept for a startup on the car company. Well, it's not specifically a car company. My concept is to start a material science company because there are so many fascinating ways to mass produce something or to create something more effectively and efficiently out of various things relating to composites, composites that relate to materials that come directly from the earth that are easy, things that are grown, even into polymers, just getting into various materials that are less expensive, more sustainable, more recyclable, all the qualities that you actually need in the world, and gives you the opportunity to make very strong, very beautiful, very interesting structures that relate to everything from home goods and houses and furniture and cars and boats and planes and all that jazz, right? So I want to do a material science company and start experimenting with all of these things, but experimenting with them and getting the techniques involved. And I should start putting together a watch here. I think, Casey. Okay. So I already have an idea for a heck of a lot of things to build. I just named you guys a number of motor vehicles. There are boats, there are airplanes to build, there are home goods, avant-garde furniture, design. Some of you that watched the Tucker Carlson episode remember I quit design school because they wouldn't let me work at the level I felt I was at the time. So I do have a design art background, but frankly my forte is engineering and practical engineering, team building and leadership. Spent the last decade plus mentoring the best engineering students in college and helping them land awesome jobs, which actually even includes Tesla and Palo Alto. So shout out to my past students that are there. And they're everywhere from, you know, the big automobile manufacturers to Lockheed Martin and defense contracting and working on exotic cars and race cars and building. So it's pretty neat the difference we've been able to make by giving students what they cannot get in school and cultivating people. So yeah, we can team build. But anyway, material science company. So you have all these different ways and processes and materials and interesting things to develop. But instead of doing experiments to gain knowledge and ability just for the sake of IP, what we do with the experiments are we start to actually produce prototype goods, furniture, car parts. Could be anything from fenders to chassis, parts of motors, entire cars. Now the beauty of that is it's far more efficient and effective because, as an example, one of the reasons I hate school, and American school are, they just want you to learn and do work for the sake of doing work. But you don't have anything that's really valuable while you're doing it. So why not do something for an actual goal so you learn while you do, but you're actually creating something worthwhile. And even if it's not your ultimate production made ready prototype, you're already researching, you're developing something while getting your IP and your techniques involved. So you're creating interesting goods, but you're also creating unique design and things that people could follow along and be interested in. And you can sell things along the way and help fund the companies there. So I do see an offshoot from the material science company of both being home goods and furniture, which is something that interests me quite a lot, and then the automotive world. And the techniques, you may get into certain things, who knows? It may be the most profitable thing is that you sell plates and tables made out of interesting biological composites. Maybe that's something there. And then perhaps in the automotive world, you end up building fenders and such initially, which ends up getting the company more profitable quickly. But of course I get into building entire vehicles, which frankly, it gives you a lot of earned media. It gets people interested. And with my interest and ability to build cars and fast cars and things that perform and actually be able to drive them fast, I am a competitive individual and I like to show people up. And that includes world manufacturers and car companies. So I think that's the most effective and efficient way to start to build from what I did with the Omega car. And keep in mind, the Omega car was a proof of concept. I was pissed off from the days of Obama, from his hollow bullshit rhetoric that was never going to happen. And we have lived in a very funny time with the electric vehicle mandates coming from the left and the Biden administration, as well as Gavin Newsom, which completely destroy innovation. You're not helping the environment. You're just simply not. It's all rhetoric. It's all a bullshit lie. Because, I'm going on a tangent here, but I get to, it's my basement. The world we live in is primitive. And we're all locked into a certain system, certain goods, and nothing that we're doing or have by any means is as good as it can be. And I said on Tucker Carlson, he's like, well, why aren't there more? I'm like, we live in a great country, but we live in a land of industrial complexes and they don't like change. And on that note, I'm really, 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 really rooting for RFK Jr. I'll just leave it at that. So hopefully we are in the right time now in history in America to push back the insanity, that's all of the lies that have frankly come from the left, deregulate so innovation can once again happen, and get rid of the waste, get rid of the fraud, get rid of the corruption. Even if it's messy for a while and difficult, thank God we have to clean house so that we can build things here again. Because 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, do you think anything's changed? No. People still want jobs. They still want to build. They still want to work. They still want community, family, a nation, and income. We want to work, but we don't have the opportunity. And I think we can change that. So, can I do it alone? Absolutely not. Nobody does anything alone. I think Elon Musk does all that stuff himself. Heck, he can't even drive a McLaren F1 without crashing it. He's not specifically designing the cars, he's overseeing it. He can manage the people and the overall vision and direction. Now, he is very, very smart. Even in the early days of SpaceX, when he was flying back from Russia after they spit on his shoes, when they're trying to buy the engines from the Russian or the Soviet ICBMs, he was already doing basic calculations to figure out what's possible and deciding to build that stuff himself. So, major kudos. But I'm a little different guy than Elon, which I have to bring this up as well. So many people immediately say, Casey, we got to get you in touch with Elon. And I'm being added at Elon and President Trump and Joe Rogan and everybody. And that's really awesome. But I thought about it. Love to connect with President Trump. Love to go on any podcast I can and talk about it. But I don't see any point in me talking to Elon. Reason being is, one, he's wildly busy right now, okay? The world and the global left is trying to destroy him by destroying the stock of his company, most likely because when you have stock, you can leverage credit line and money against your stock. So if they tank the stock, they're going to put him in a bad position. I assume that's largely the structure of what they're doing. So he's a bit busy with all of that right now to do something new. However, it's not that. Elon and I have two completely different philosophies toward life and civilization. He chose electric cars. They're not ultimately saving the environment. They're not affordable. And electric cars are an appliance that are somewhat going down the slippery slope of control. They're self-driving even. Okay. Well, he also wants to be a multi-planet species. Totally cool. I get it. Thinking big, important. Why not? But he's also doing AI and working to implant chips with people to make them effectively bionically connected and controlled. That stuff is not my deal. I'm far more interested in making life for everybody better here now. Do I think space is cool and space travel? Hell yeah. I'm an adventurer and explorer. But I don't really give a shit, because I'd rather make everybody's life affordable and better here in the United States, elsewhere in the entirety of the world. That's why I decided to do better engineering and design techniques that can be used for virtually any kind of drivetrain, whether it's electric or hybrid or gas or diesel or you name it, nuclear, steam, whatever, because you need different things in different places of the world, different developing nations. Whether you're in a city center like LA or New York, or you're out in the boonies, you need a different drivetrain. So I'm more interested in people in the earth here now. I'm also more interested in the human experience. I don't like AI. I'm just going to be straight up honest. There's a lot of power to it, but the reason it's happening is it's power and control. And we're in effectively a nuclear arms race, as a metaphor, with AI. See, I hope Elon does a reasonable job, because the Chinese and everybody else are going to do it. And I've watched enough science fiction movies, which were really popular in the 70s up to right now, that we're just messing with the worst kinds of things. So the cars I want to build are, one, affordable. Two, have less environmental impact, because I actually do care. I do care. But I'm not going to use that as political leverage to try to seek control and money from everybody else, like the left has been doing, which is the biggest reason I hate them. They're all hypocrites, and everything they're doing just comes down to power and control and class warfare to restructure things so they can have power and control and use people as useful idiots. That doesn't work for me. Okay, I got to put this watch together. Let me think about what I'm doing. Okay. So kind of a rant, but that's the way I feel about the world at large from observation and looking around. I'm an individual. I don't like getting screwed. I don't like being controlled. I like having an orderly civilization and world. And I'm not an idiot. I'm not afraid to be the bad guy if I have to make sure things are better for everybody. You know, like if you're a dad, you don't actually give your kid everything they want, or you end up with a bad kid. It's not much different with a business or a nation in some ways. So I'm getting sidetracked, but I was already on Tucker Carlson. So, you know, I'm already sort of in the political sphere, so to speak. That is a little tricky to see without magnification. Okie dokie. So, I hope that I can sell you all some cars in the future. That would be really cool. There's a way to go. I have a plan. Like I said, the material science startup company, where effectively all of the experiments are creating fantastic ways to create stuff, which will be valuable. And there's money to be made there with that alone, but also allows me to create 2 effective offshoot companies immediately that I care about. The automotive world and cars and transportation, which eventually can get into aerospace as well as boats, commercial type things as well. But also, frankly, I like furniture and home goods and stuff. So that's what I want to do. What's that going to take? Wealthy people. Crowdfunding, frankly, don't know that much about it. I tried to do a GoFundMe thing, I think, way back when I did the Omega car, and they basically said, no. Like, you suck, your design's not feasible, it's not going to happen, go away. And I'm like, oh, all right, thanks for nothing. You know, and what I'm talking about with the material startup company is relatively low capital investment, but it allows you to get something going of value quickly for relatively small capital in comparison to doing an entire car company, but allows us to start laying the groundwork to start a car company, which I look forward to do. And then, who knows, maybe my little watch company that I'm starting right now can be the fun hobby business. So got a plan for this too, starting with largely off-the-shelf, high-end movements, made as nice as possible with the highest quality things. By the way, all the Chinese crap that people buy to build watches is garbage. I've got a couple, I tested some cases. They're just crap. They have crap tolerances. They're machined like crap. They have plastic that stuff snaps into it. It's garbage. No, just because something looks good in a picture and it's cheap does not mean it's good at all. Just wanted to say that. Probably sound like an old man. Don't care. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. So I do hope that I have the opportunity to make my startup company happen and build that. I would love the opportunity to help create jobs, good jobs, where people can be creative and build a better tomorrow. I mean that genuinely. And frankly, I think it'd be kind of fun of the opportunity to get to hire past engineering students of mine. And I know they would be very, very excited about it, because right now is a very difficult time out there in the job market. And by very difficult, I mean I've never seen it this bad my entire life, and I'm very, very worried for everyone. So we'll see. And that's all there is to it. Like I said, I'm America First kind of guy, so I want to do it here. So kind of in it to win it. But I'm sure there's going to be people and places in other parts of the world. Actually, I already know that. They're already approaching me. They want to do things. But I just hope, that we still live in a country and time where you can create new things. Because I think the system, the way it is right now and everything, does not want to change. We're not evolving. We're not doing things for the better, for the health of everybody. No one can afford anything anymore. No one has time for each other anymore. Everybody's fat and unhealthy and chronic diseases across the board. I mean, we're a mess, guys. But we can make it better if we come together. So I hope there's still some well-heeled people out there that have some idealistic qualities to them, rather than just, hey, I want to do a pump and dump kind of BS scheme to get a bunch of money and just get this IPO public so I can cash out. Isn't that annoying? You know, because at the end of the day, how many toys do you need? How many houses do you need? You're just going to chase dopamine hits, buying crap all the time the rest of your life? It's pretty empty. At the end of the day, you can have all the big fancy toys you want and everything like that. Good for you. But Are you having a life? Any time for yourself? Helping any others? Building anything for the community? Building anything for the nation? Creating an actual legacy? Making something of meaning? Inspiring people? Creating art? You doing any of those things? You know, and I've done automotive YouTube for a bunch of years, and I'll just share this in kind of a personal note since I'm down in my basement. Automotive YouTube is something I did and leveraged, you know, my personality and knowledge of cars to do silly sophomoric stuff to try to get exposure for the nonprofit, because that's what I cared about. I wanted to grow that, and mainstream media is trash. And it was fun to talk with Tucker about that. But what I'm saying is, there's so much better things out there in life, and I just want to go after that. And I want to help other people be able to build their dreams and be part of something bigger. Because we're worshiping the wrong things these days, and there's no substance. So that's really all I got. If you'd like to get a Founders Watch, it's going to be one-off, hand-assembled by me, high quality. The price range is $5,000 to $15,000, and super high-end watches. And then the people who get that, it'll be customized specifically for them. With a nice thing, a 101. And those 10 people will have the right of first refusal to invest in the watch company when the time comes. So I can't sell you a car right now, but I can build you an amazing watch. So that's all I got for you all. I will do more videos of the Omega car coming up, but today I thought it was important for me to sit down and let everybody know about the ability to, can you buy a car right now? And what exactly I'm trying to do. So this isn't scripted. This is how I think. So anyway, I'm really glad you guys are all watching. I'm really honored. I'm just gonna put that on a little bit. I don't even want to tighten that down yet. Having to conceptualize and think while working on something detailed is not always the best thing to do. That is pretty. That is great. Okay, I got to concentrate a little bit more. I got to trim the stem. I got to put the hands on, and that gets detail-y work that I really need to concentrate and magnify. So, hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me at home, doing my thing, and that's what I want to do. But hope I get the opportunity. We'll see.